What up, Fight World? It's your boy Ego, and I'm back with some more boxing. Now, I want to give you guys some ideas of some potential matches. Now, these are just ideas that are being thrown around, tossed around for potential matchups, similar to what I do on my channel with Ego's Matchmakers. They're looking at possible future matches with some of the lesser stars. And I don't mean lesser in terms of their ability, I'm talking about lesser in terms of popularity. In general. Not, you know what I mean? Meaning not Miguel Cotto or Pacquiao superstar status. So, they're talking about making a potential Ruslan Provodnikov and Thomas Dulorme fight. And I'm going to give you guys my thoughts on this. Another one is possibly Brandon Rios versus Antonio Demarco. Um, my thoughts on this, I mean, personally, I wish Brandon Rios and Provodnikov would fight. But you know how the business goes and business and boxing politics and stuff like that. So Brandon Rios has a fan base and Ruslan has kind of a cult fan base in the States. So I don't know if Top Rank's eager to put them against each other because that could be a hellacious fight. They might be wanting to let that marinate and prime that a little bit more before they just throw each other at there. You know what I mean? Because if Brandon Rios takes another loss, that'll be his third consecutive loss. And Ruslan Provodnikov has the ability to beat Brandon Rios, and Brandon Rios has the ability to beat Ruslan Provodnikov. In my opinion, it's a 50-50 fight. Kind of who breaks down who first, who comes with the better game plan, and that kind of thing. So, great fight. I would rather see that than the other two potential matches that I've heard about. And again, that's Brandon Rios versus Antonio Demarco and Ruslan versus Thomas Dulorme. So, I want to spend a little bit of time and break those down, those potential matches. As far as Ruslan Provodnikov and Thomas Dulorme, I think if I were Dulorme's handlers, that's a horrible fight for him. Um, you you started off strong against Kareem Mayfield, and he kind of finished strong, like halfway mark towards the end. That's where he started to pick up the pace. Now, I think this is just my opinion. It's not no Bay Area bias or nothing. I think what happened in the Mayfield Dulorme fight, a lot of Dulorme's success, other than what he was doing right, but I think a lot of it stems from, like, if you look at the fight entirely, a lot of it stems from what Kareem Mayfield was doing wrong, as well as what Thomas Dulorme was doing right, if that makes any sense. Like, I think Kareem Mayfield had a horrible game plan. First of all, fighting at a distance against an athletic guy with speed and longer arms and taller than you. So I think that factored in, and it's not Delorme's fault. It's not Robert Garcia's fault how your opponent comes out. But I'm saying Kareem Mayfield could have made it an easier night on himself had him and Virgil Hunter came up with a game plan that would get him on in the inside. You know what I'm saying? So again, I'm not taking anything away from Dulorme and his win. A win is a win. He can't control how his opponent fights. But in terms of him looking good in that fight, I think a lot of it was, I mean, Mayfield was fighting in accordance to what would work with Thomas Dulorme. Now you got a guy like Ruslan Provodnikov. That's a different beast because Ruslan has this threatening power. He has this devastating crush you power. You know what I mean? He's a tough Russian. So where Kareem Mayfield looked good only in spots, I think Ruslan Provodnikov, he's more effective with that aggressive style. He has an amateur background. He's tough as fuck and he can take a punch. And if you can't get this guy out of here or really deter him from coming forward, then you're in for a world of trouble. And I said this and I still maintain this. I like Thomas Dulorme, but I'm not sold on his chin. I don't think he has the best chin. And if he's able to fight at a comfortable pace and a comfortable distance, then everything goes well for Thomas Dulorme. He's able to look good and fight, and he looks almost sensational because he's very athletic. He has quick hands, so it just looks very impressive. And I even compared him to Jorge Linares, another fighter. Like Jorge Linares, if you watch his last fight against Arakawa, he looked great. You know what I mean? He was just boxing beautiful, putting up good combinations, just putting punches together. He looked great in that fight. However, you throw him in there with an Antonio Demarco, someone who's not afraid to get their hands dirty, so to speak, and it could be a different fight. Someone who's willing to, you know what I mean, go out on their shield and really try to break you down. So it's a different type of fight if you allow them to box their game plan. I think Thomas Dulorme against a guy like Ruslan Provodnikov, I think he's going to get discouraged and then get stopped by a guy like Ruslan Provodnikov, because Ruslan doesn't care what you dish out. He's coming forward. And just in the Cream Mayfield fight, I didn't see enough like firepower that would be the like where Thomas Dulorme would be the first guy to stop Ruslan Provodnikov. But it could be a good fight because the better boxer, the more technically sound, taller boxer is Dulorme. But Ruslan is just, I just think he's too much. He's too relentless, and it'd be similar to Mike Alvarado. And the moment Thomas Dulorme slipped up, got caught, didn't, you know what I mean, like stayed in the exchange too long, I think he just gets clipped, and that would be the end of the night. Murder she wrote, you know what I mean? Or even if he started to fatigue, it's just murder she wrote. As far as Brandon Rios versus Demarco, I don't really even know what weight that would even take place at. Demarco lost to Broner at 135. Then he moved up to 140. He had some issues, like personal issues in his personal life I'm not at liberty to speak about. And then he's been fighting at 140. So I don't know if they would meet at a catch weight. I don't know if DeMarco would move up again to 147. If he does, it's not really a good look for him. I think he should push for a catch weight. And to me, this is kind of a fight to get Brandon Rios back into the swing of things. And I'm not trying to sell DeMarco short, say he's not tough, say he's not game. But Brandon Rios, I think, would outweigh him 15, 20 pounds on fight night. I think in the Alvarado Rios Part 2 fight, I think he was weighing somewhere in the 160s, which is big. And that lets you know how big Brandon Rios is. Like, he was getting forced out of division to division. They're saying allegedly he can still make 140, and I think that's more a long shot. Like, he could, but how is it going to look? Is he going to starve himself like he was doing on the HBO 2 days? So, as far as Rios versus DeMarco, I'm not really thrilled with that fight. I think after the Broner loss, I haven't really seen DeMarco do anything great to the point that I think the bigger Rios will get stopped by him or anything like that. People got to put into consideration Rios lost to Alvarado, who is another big junior welter, and he lost to Pacquiao convincingly. But Pacquiao is Pacquiao. Pacquiao's phenomenal speed, lots of experience, lots of knockouts. He has angles, power, and stylistically, his style is the worst type of style for someone like Brandon Rios, who's slow and like plotting in their attack and their approach, just comes straight at you in a beeline. So as far as those fights, let me know what you guys think. Those are potential fights I've heard Top Rank is tossing back. I really don't see Thomas Dulorme beating Ruslan Provodnikov, and I really don't see DeMarco beating Brandon Rios, so I don't know how entertaining these fights would be. In my personal opinion, instead of Brandon Rios versus Antonio DeMarco really making a guy come up, a good fight if you're not going to select Ruslan Provodnikov for Brandon Rios, a fight that I think is doable and would be a good fight, especially for Rios, would be a fight with Luis Carlos Abregu. You know what I'm saying? If they're trying to get him an opponent sooner, you know, Mike Alvarado's tied up with Juan Manuel Marquez. He already lost to Pacquiao, who's fighting Bradley coming up. So if you're looking at the top ranked stable, Jesse Vargas has a fight on the books. Everyone's pretty much tied up, but Luis Carlos Abregu just had a win, and I think they could make something for the summer. And I think that's a better fight than Antonio DeMarco, who's in the lower weight divisions. So leave a comment. Let me know if there's something else you guys think. If you think there'll be scintillating fights or what. Just leave a comment. Let me know what you guys think. As always, hate, comment, or subscribe. Till next videos, Ego signing off.